Hello everyone, and welcome back to another Mirror Dungeon solo video. Today we'll be using none other than the first ever meta unit, Rabbit Heathcliff. Even in today's day and age, he's still an incredible identity. So what makes him powerful enough to keep up with his crazier identities such as Wild Hunt? 2 words: quick suppression. His skill 3 is quite literally the only thing in his kit that matters. Everything else in his kit is so drastically inferior to his skill 3 that you're honestly better off just spamming evades and egos whenever you can't use it. So what exactly makes it so that his skill 3 alone is capable of competing with the wall of text that is Wild Hunt Heathcliff? Quick Suppression is a 5-point skill that rolls a 23 and inflicts 4 fragile. He is capable of doing triple digits worth of damage on a neutral attack. However, because of the fragile, he's not only an incredible DPS unit, but also a great support unit too, as everyone who moves after him will benefit from the 40% extra damage. The only real downsides he possesses are threefold. First, because he's only really valuable for his skill 3, he's only really useful for a single turn, and that's basically it. Second is, he needs to be moving fast, not only to buff his rolls, but also inflict the fragile before anyone else moves. This is pretty easy to work around though, as you can simply use his base ego the turn before and generally be fine after. And lastly, he can only inflict the fragile if he has ammo. Because he's only really useful for a single turn, this is less of an issue as you only ever need 2 ammo at most, but ends up making him more of a liability in long drawn out fights. Speaking of long drawn out fights, by nature of soloing almost every fight is long and drawn out, so some might assume that his ammo might end up being a problem, but you would be wrong. As long as you go in with the mindset of never using anything except his skill 3, because why would you use anything else, he can end pretty much every single fight without ever running out of ammo. Nothing can survive a single quick suppression except bosses, and because he starts with 16 ammo, there needs to be more than 8 enemies in a single fight in order for him to ever run out of ammo. His biggest weakness is in fact not long drawn out fights, but instead multiple very weak enemies. Starting the run off, we picked Barbed Lasso and Fluorescent Lamp as our starting gifts because his skill 3 inflicts Rupture and also for all the haste provided from those, guaranteeing we are always fast enough for our conditionals. We choose the Forgotten for the first floor and are up against G-Corp for the first boss. This is probably the hardest fight in the entire run exclusively because it's a non-focus encounter. Rabbit Heathcliff is a pretty frail identity and as such it's very easy for him to get staggered. The general does fatal damage to us, and if we do absolutely nothing, he's more than capable of making sure we get staggered. Unfortunately, because this is the first floor and I've yet to replace any skills, we are forced to use some of Heathcliff's regular skills in order to clash and heal with G-Corp Gregor's support passive to avoid getting staggered. Of course, whenever we have the opportunity to use quick suppression, we do, and every time it kills, allowing us to take the bugs out one by one until eventually we win. We take the Risk Guards as a reward before heading to Falling Flowers for the next floor. Here we buy Lithograph, Curriculum Vitae, Eclipse of Scarlet Moths, Painkillers, and an extra skill 3 before making it to the boss against the Drifting Fox. The Fox can be pretty dangerous with it having a lot of skills and Rupture as well. Fortunately for us, we do have an evade, but even with that, we're not entirely safe. The Fox's Gluttony skills are capable of rolling a 15 and thus beat our evade. On the second turn of the fight, I attempt to put RNG in my favor by clashing with one of those skills despite the fact I don't have a skill 3 and would be wasting ammo. Unfortunately, this doesn't work as he beats our evade with his other skill regardless and we stagger as a result. Getting staggered now though is not that big of a deal as the Fox doesn't attack on the third turn, also Painkillers exists. As soon as we recover though, well, let's just say it's a pretty quick suppression.
박살이 나는데?
일개 부위가 떨어져 나갔네요. 붓기 사후 보고 좋아, 알맞게 먼지 덩어리 풀어냈네. 그러니까 완벽한 한방 시원한 걸.
We take Thunder Branch for our reward and head into Dregs of the Manor for the next floor. Here we fuse Lightning Rod and find Sticky Muck as well as UPS system before making it to the boss against the dead rabbits. Which of us is the better rabbit? Well, the living one, of course. We can dodge everything on the first turn and quickly suppress this poor imitation of a rabbit on the following, resulting in one of the easiest fights in the run.
가서 할 수 있는 건 다 해보고 오라고. 개체의 약점을 정확히 꿰뚫었으면 준비를 철저히 했나 보다. 뭐야 파이팅이다. 날 뛰어보라고.
원더풀 선택했어 나리. 알맞게 먼지 덩어리 풀어냈네. 그러니까 이젠
We take the Crown of Roses for our reward and receive Ragged Umbrella as a bonus before heading into Time-Killing Time for the next floor. Here we buy another skill 3 and the Material Interference Force Field as well as fusing Death Seeker before making it to the boss against the Time Ripper. This fight goes exactly the same as literally every other fight. Quick suppression, and of course, quick suppression. Anything we can't quickly suppress is simply dodge, and with the Time Ripper being weak to pierce damage, this fight doesn't last very long in the slightest.
대상이 특수한 공격을 하려나 봐. 좋아, 알맞게 먼지 덩어리 풀어냈네. 그러니까 밤을 내볼 차례겠지.
적중에 정신 못 차리는 녀석.
완벽한 한방 시원한 걸. 공격 능력 평가 양호.
어허, 제대로 붙였네. 날 뛰어보라고.
적들이 저녁 만찬 냄새를 맡아버린 손님들처럼 배치가 좋네. 한 접시 큰 사고 먹어볼까? 위협 경고, 위협 경고.
우와, 아주 박살이 났네.
일개 부위가 떨어져 나갔네요. 한국이 딱 우리 한번 먹었어.
씹는 맛이 있는데?
We take the Broken Revolver for our reward and head into Murder on the Warp Express for the final floor. Here we buy night vision goggles and crystallized blood while also finding the biogenerative battery before making it to the boss against Cassetti. Remember how at the start of the video I said that Rabbit Heathcliff's one and only weakness is multiple very weak enemies? Guess what this fight has? If I simply play this fight normally, by the time I reach Cassetti I will be out of ammo. This doesn't make me completely helpless though. Quick suppression still does okay damage without ammo, but it would be such a slog that is really not worth doing. So instead, I do the obvious. Ego spam until we get to Cassetti and then dump everything I have into him. Well, almost everything anyway. I put 1 into Sasha, but other than that, we quickly suppress Cassetti and force him off the warp train once and for all.
훌륭한 버틀러의 자세야. 한 번에 여러 가지의 임무를 공격 능력이니까 야호.
어허, 제대로 꽂혔는데. 지면이 울릴 때마다 우리 업을 떠.
여기 오랜만에 모범을 보여주는 직원이 있군요. 효율적으로 백화들을 처리했습니다. 정보만이 가능한 업적이었고
장자의 집.
친구들 딱한번 먹었어.
하나 눕혔네. 이런 건 몽둥이가 약이지. 두드려 패.
하루 기다리는 것 같아. 상담에서 알려준 대로 잘했어. 역시 상담 프로그램 적합한 관리법이었어요. 다행이에요. 감동적이지 않을 수 없네.
크다. 눈에 바로 컵을 다 밀어버리는
대체 약품을 정확히 꿰뚫었습니다.
날 뛰어보라고.
완전 공격. 다음에 다른 개체에게도 다시 해봐줄래? 영상으로 남기면 다른 직원에게도 보여주거든요. 알맞게 먼지 덩어리 풀어냈네. 그러니까 이젠 광을 내볼 차례겠지.
근육이 신나서 날뛰는 건 더 해치울 거 없어? 난 이제 시작인데.
And that's how I soloed Mirror Dungeon 4 hard using only quick suppression. Rabbit Heathcliff only has 1 good skill, and by god, that's all he needs. As long as there's a quick suppression, there will always be a way. Anyway, that's it from me. Like and subscribe to not miss next time where we'll be using this character. Goodbye.